With us today for the Good Chat, a very special guest, Eric Fairbank, who was instrumental in setting up the Warrnambool and District Community Hospice, which is 10 years ago. So it's a celebration this year to reach that milestone. Eric, welcome to Good Chat.
Thanks very much.
An amazing achievement to have the hospice going now for 10 years. Take us through the history of it, how it started and why it started.
Yeah, right. Well, it started because Deidre Bidmaid, who was a palliative care nurse at St John of God, thought that there were better places to die than in hospital. And the original plan was to actually build one, but it was beyond the means of a small community group. And on the basis of some studies into helping people dying, we decided we'd go with looking after people in their own homes, because that's where most people want to be. And so we then thought, well, let's call it Hospice in the Home, and so it went from there.
And you had seen, obviously, the need for this, being you were a doctor since 1968, and so as a GP ended up going into palliative care. So you obviously saw the whole sort of journey, didn't you, and obviously saw that need for this to happen. Yeah,
most people say they'd like to die at home, but back in the early days, probably only 15% managed that. So they're paying a lot of money to be in places they didn't want to be.
Yeah.
And so to help people or respect their wishes, we decided we'd set up some volunteers to go and give the families a hand when they're going through a difficult time.
And how rewarding has that been over the last 10 years for you guys to see, people's final days spent the way they want them to be?
Yeah, no, it is good. I think it gives us all purpose. And, now that we see more people dying at home, I think it's a reward for people who've devoted their time to doing that.
And obviously, being a doctor, why did you end up going into the palliative care side of it? What appealed to you with that?
Yeah, I don't think it appealed in the early days.
Yeah.
In my early days in general practice, I was, delivering babies and giving anaesthetics, and I enjoyed that procedural side of general practice as it was in those days. It's different now.
Yeah.
But then as things changed in the local hospital here, there was seemed to be a need for looking after people who were dying. And there were a couple of ladies who'd been to England and seen the hospice movement over there, and they came back and they said, well, Warrnambool needs something like this. And they were the starting point, I guess, and the initial enthusiasm sort of caught on, and we opened up a palliative care unit in 1986, which was probably the first one in regional Victoria. Yep. And things just grew from there.
What's it like being a doctor? It's like, as a journalist, if we spell something wrong, it's very public, and someone comes straight at us and said, you spelt that wrong, you done your job wrong, and you go home or you get a name wrong or something, you go home and you think, gee, bugger that or whatever. But what's it like being a doctor where you guys are probably the most accountable occupation in the world, really, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's not good if we make mistakes, I guess. So the pressure is on, and I guess in general practice, the difficult thing is to sort out the really serious illnesses from the ones that are not so life-threatening. And that can be hard at times. Someone comes and complains of being tired. Well, there's a lot of reasons for being tired, and some of them are serious and some of them aren't. Yeah.
I specialise in finding you either your first home, your next home, or your next investment property. All I've ever wanted to do was help people to be able to help them achieve their goals. I'm Teresa, and I'm from Warrnambool Finance Co.
Imagine a ritual that changes the future of your skin. At Mira Skin, treatments are designed to deliver visible results within a moment of calm. Every experience is personalised, combining clinical-grade skincare with advanced technology. I'm here to restore your skin's resilience and soothe your soul. Mira Skin, beautiful skin by the sea.
When it comes to your roof, you want it done once and done right. At Elevate Roof Plumbing, we take pride in every project. Whether it's a new build, a re-roof or repairs, our team is reliable, our workmanship is top quality and we keep communication clear from start to finish. Local, trusted and committed to getting it done right the first time. Elevate Roof Plumbing. Quality roofing you can count on.
And what's it like from 1968 to when you retired, which wasn't that long ago, or is it easier to be a doctor back then, or would it be easier now?
I think it was more satisfying back then. I mean, that's just me, I suppose, but I enjoyed the variety of work that general practice involved, and we mixed up being in our rooms down the street with being up in the hospital, doing things up there in terms of procedures and so on. I think these days most general practices they're in the rooms all the time, and it's they lack the I think the variety that we would have had.
Do you think, it's a bit of a theory I've got, do you think the doctor shortage is obviously a bit of a worry, but do you think we're over-diagnosed as a community? Like people, when something's wrong, because you can read so much and everything now, everyone automatically is looking for a diagnosis, whereas it might be that just such a title, you run down for a bit and then it works back out again.
Yeah, I think most doctors these days expect their patients to have been on Dr. Google before they come. And a little bit of knowledge is often a bit dangerous. I think it can I know when I was a medical student I had about 3 fatal illnesses because you're learning about these things but you didn't know a lot about them. And I think it's the same with the general public, that they can end up in some dark places on the internet and think the worst. So I don't mind the research, but I think you should talk it over with your doctor at the same time.
And does that put referred pressure on the doctor to think, this person really they want a diagnosis, they want a label? It puts pressure on them now then, doesn't it?
Yeah. And yes, and also the demand for a script for every ailment. Yeah, that's something else that's sometimes hard for doctors to counter. Yeah.
And away from work, you were a very prominent footballer back in the day. You came to Warrnambool in 1968 and played for South Warrnambool. Take us through a bit of your footy career.
I've really enjoyed my footy days, of course. I played for South Bowen underage side when I was living in Geelong. Played in the grand final of the senior team. That was my first senior game.
Yeah, right. Nice. Good timing.
Then I moved to Melbourne and I played for Melbourne High School boys. Got invited to train with both Geelong and Melbourne back in the day, but study sort of took precedence. And then I came down to Warrnambool, and I was encouraged to go to South Warrnambool instead of Warrnambool. And I was a centreman back in Melbourne, but Alistair Lord was our captain coach, and of course he was a renowned centreman. So I ended up at full back, which was good. I actually liked it down there. So I played all my days in Warrnambool at full back. Yeah,
2 premierships, which is a...
Premiership in 69 and 1974 when I'd been away for 3 years. So I went over to New Guinea and worked there for a couple of years, and then I came back to Warrnambool into general practice, and it was a bit hard combining the two because I was just in a 2-man practice and we were on call every second weekend, so I had to deal with the guys, and ended up in 74 just playing the last 5 games in the finals, so it was a good year to do that.
Nice. And a nice connection with your son Paul, playing 20 years later in 1994 premiership for South Warrnambool.
Yeah, that was a good link, and that was his year 12. He was in the side that won the 94 flag, and he went on to play with Uni Blues in Melbourne.
Yep, nice. Well, thanks again for being here. And anything else you wanted to add with your, the 10 years? What do you hope happens with Hospice over the next 10 years?
Yeah, well, I think it's going to grow more, and I think, what we hope is that the community itself will become more involved. If we can be more open about talking about death and dying and educating people about the issues that arise when you're looking after someone who's dying, then the community will be better prepared to look after their own. And I think we'll need to do that because the number of people who are going to die will exceed the capabilities of the hospital system.
All right, Eric, well, thank you very much. I know you're a much respected member of the community and a real quiet achiever, and thank you for all you do.
Well, thanks very much.